we'll go ahead and get queued up for Alabama. The Crimson Tide will host Middle Tennessee on Saturday at 6:30 Central on SEC Network. To ask a question of Coach Saban, please press 10 on your telephone's keypad now. I think we have Coach on the line. So, Coach, while we wait on those questions, if you could take a moment to comment on your team as you enter the season opener on Saturday.
Right. Well, I think everybody's anxious to play a first game. I think that, the preparation in fall camp has been good. The players have had a really good attitude. I think that, now they're tired of practicing and it's time to turn their attention to playing a game. And the opportunity is to see what kind of identity this team can sort of create for itself. And, Middle Tennessee won 8 games last year. They beat Miami, San Diego State. So, this is always something that's a challenge in terms of preparing for the first game and seeing where you're at. So we're looking forward to it.
For questions for Coach, please press 10, and we'll begin with David Newton of ESPN.com.
Coach, I wanted to take you back to a season opener a few years ago and ask you, what did you see in Bryce Young in his first start for you that you feel will carry over to the NFL for his first start?
Well, Bryce is a really bright guy, and he's a great preparer for, games. He's got a lot of pride in performance. So, I'm sure he'll do everything that he can with his coaches to try to get ready to execute and do things the way he needs to do them to have success and for his team to have success. That's what he always did here, and I'm sure it'll be no different there. It's a little faster game, so, that's something that he'll have to get into. But, experience is, nothing more than accumulation of mistakes that you make and lessons that you learn. And he always did a good job of being able to, move forward from all those things. So I'm sure he'll continue to do that as he develops a career in the NFL.
And what do you think are reasonable expectations for him in his first season?
I'm not an expectations guy. That's kind of up to you all. He's going to try to play the best that he can. We hope that he plays the best that he can and that he can play well enough to help the team be successful, and I'm sure that's the goal he has as well.
Thank you very much.
Next is Ryan Hunt of AP and Kelly Show.
Coach Saban, you've led teams to national championships and had consistent success. Could you highlight a key principle or philosophy that sets the foundation for building a winning football program?
Well, I think first of all, you got to have good players, but secondly, you got to have the right kind of culture in your organization when it comes to not only what you want to accomplish, but everybody realizing, what it entails to accomplish it and making a commitment to do things at the standard and the level you need to do them on a consistent basis. And it's not easy. It's hard, but everybody's got to buy into it. So I think culture of develops discipline, mental toughness, perseverance, ability to overcome adversity, pride in performance. All those things are critical to the kind of intangibles that you need on your teams to be successful. And that's the culture that we've consistently tried to create here. Sometimes we've done a little better than others.
Thank you, Coach.
Next, we'll go to Michael Casagrande of AL.com.
Yeah, just wonder what you thought about the possible impact of the new clock rules this year.
I don't think they're going to have a tremendous impact. The clock not stopping on the first down is not going to be a huge thing, and I don't think the timeout rules they could have some impact on the game at the end of the game, but everybody understands what they are, so I don't really think it's significant. I do think that, when you get up in the 80s and 90s in terms of number of plays that you play in a game and how long the game becomes for the players, is, probably something that we need to continue to evaluate.
Thank you.
Next, we'll go to Alex Scarborough of ESPN.
Hey, Nick. I'm not sure there's such a thing as replacing Will Anderson, but do you see Dallas Turner taking on more with Will gone? And just where in general do you see his development and his room for growth?
Well, I don't think that any player should look like, they're trying to replace any other player. I mean, Will Anderson was a great player in his way, in his career here. And, Dallas Turner has been a very good player in, his career here. And, we want him to continue to develop and be the best player he can be and create the most value that he can for himself and the team. And we want to do the same thing with, Chris Braswell or whoever else plays that position. So we don't kind of look at it like somebody's replacing somebody. You look at it like what do you need to continue to help develop that guy to play well.
Thanks.
Coach, we'll finish you up today with Steve Moulton of WZZN.
Coach, hope you're doing well. Appreciate the time today, sir. Wanted to ask about Caleb Downs. What have you seen out of this young man during this fall camp, Coach?
Yeah, Caleb's done a really good job. He's a bright young guy. He's very instinctive. He's mature beyond his years, I think, and he's played really, really well in fall camp, and we just want to help him continue to grow and develop the experience that he needs to be able to, play well. I know he wants to play well, and we want to help him play well.
And I promise no depth chart question, Coach, but I do wonder, I've heard you talk a number of times about finishing and dogs. How would you assess in terms of finishers on your team that you have right now, Coach?
Well, I think that's why we're going to play the first game and see, how guys play in the game, how they compete in the game, how they sustain in the game, how they can finish, in the fourth quarter. I mean, I think those are all things you find out about your team when you play games.
Thank you, Coach.
Coach, thank you for your time today.
All right, thank you.
Charlie, strike, go. And go. Second, strike, press, go. Go. Second, strike, press. Good. That's it. Don't stop. Second, strike.